Some children are called mature before they ever get the chance to be small. The compliment sounds warm, but sometimes it is a warning sign. The story usually begins quietly, long before anyone calls it pain. A child is supposed to carry simple things, questions, games, tiny disappointments, and the feeling that someone bigger is watching the door. That safe presence is what lets curiosity grow without fear. But some children carry the weather of the whole house. They learn who is tense, who is sad, and what must not be said. They become fluent in moods before they know their own wishes. This is often called growing up too fast. More precisely, it can mean a child is pulled into adult emotional or practical roles too early. The child is not pretending to be older. The role arrives first. It is not a diagnosis, and it is not a life sentence. It is a pattern of survival that can be understood and slowly changed. A survival pattern can be honored without letting it rule forever. In a healthy home, responsibility grows gradually. A child learns chores, limits, repair, and trust while still being allowed to be a child. There is enough structure for growth and enough freedom for wonder. But when adults are overwhelmed, absent, explosive, ill, or emotionally unavailable, the child may become the emergency system. The house may look normal, but the child's body keeps score. They become the peacemaker, the mood reader, the helper, the quiet one, the tiny parent, or the child who needs almost nothing. Each role gives safety for a moment and steals a little spontaneity. Adults may praise this child as an old soul. The child hears love, so the role becomes a badge they are afraid to remove. The badge feels precious because it seems to buy closeness. The tragedy is that the child is not becoming mature because life is peaceful. They are becoming watchful because peace is uncertain. Watchfulness becomes a substitute for the calm they should have received. Their nervous system learns a rule: relax later. First, check the room. First, prevent the problem. First, be useful. Over time, this order becomes automatic, even in safe places. This is why the grown version may walk into any room and instantly feel the temperature of everyone else's emotions. They are not being dramatic. Their body is predicting danger. A sigh, a pause, a closing door, or a small change in tone can activate the whole internal alarm system. The present moment gets mistaken for an old emergency. This skill can make someone deeply perceptive. It can also make rest feel suspicious, because quiet feels like the moment before something happens. This is useful information, but a terrible permanent home. Another result is hyper-independence. The person does not ask for help because needing help once felt unsafe or expensive. Help feels like debt, exposure, or a trap they cannot control. They may say, "I am fine," while carrying 5 invisible bags. Then they wonder why connection feels far away. Connection wants honesty, but armor keeps the honest part hidden. The hidden belief is simple. If I need too much, I might be rejected. So I will become the person who needs almost nothing. The need is still there. It has simply learned to whisper. That can look strong from the outside. Inside, it is often loneliness wearing armor. The armor protects the wound and blocks the hug at once. There is also a strange difficulty with fun. Play asks you to forget yourself for a while, but the scanner hates forgetting. Play requires surrender, and surrender once felt too risky. Flow, that absorbed feeling where time disappears, needs safety. A child trained to monitor danger may struggle to fall into it. The mind keeps one eye on joy and one eye on danger. So even enjoyable things can feel irresponsible. Rest can feel lazy. Joy can feel like leaving your post. So pleasure gets interrupted by responsibility before it can deepen. Many children who grew up too fast become the therapist friend. They can read pain before anyone says a word. Their empathy is real, but it was trained under pressure. They offer wise advice, calm other people, and hold emotional storms. But when their own pain appears, they hide it quickly. Their own inner signal becomes the easiest one to ignore. This is not fake kindness. It is an old map of love. Be useful, be calm, be needed, and maybe you will be safe. It is a powerful rule and also a very lonely one. But love that must be earned through usefulness is exhausting. It turns relationships into jobs and care into performance. Eventually, the performance becomes so familiar it feels like personality. A healing question begins here. Who am I when nobody needs me to fix the room? This question is small, but it opens the locked room. At first, that question can feel terrifying. If usefulness was your ticket to belonging, stillness can feel like disappearing. That emptiness is not proof of failure, it is unused space. This is why healing is not just thinking nicer thoughts. It is teaching the body that safety can exist without constant performance. The body needs repeated experiences, not one perfect insight. Step 1 is to name the role, not to blame yourself and not to turn your family into a cartoon villain. Naming gives the role edges, and edges make change possible. Simply say, I learned to carry adult weight too early. That sentence separates you from the job you were given. The backpack may remain, but it no longer has your name. Step 2 is to practice receiving tiny help, not total dependence, one small allowed assist. This is how trust is rebuilt, one survivable request at a time. Let someone carry one bag, answer one question, sit beside you for one hard minute, or remind you that you are not alone. Shared weight can feel strange before it feels comforting. Your old alarm may shout that this is dangerous. Thank it for protecting you, then let the new evidence arrive. Evidence is quiet at first, but it teaches more than fear. Step 3 is boundaries. A boundary is not a wall against love, it is a door with a handle. A handle means you can open, close, pause, and choose. It says, I can care about you without becoming responsible for every feeling in the room. The room can have feelings without making you its manager. For someone trained to manage everyone, this can feel selfish, but it is actually how love becomes sustainable. A sustainable heart can keep caring without emptying itself completely. Step 4 is scheduled uselessness. Give yourself a small pocket of time where you do not improve, solve, earn, or rescue. This is not wasted time, it is nervous system education. Draw badly, move slowly, stare at the ceiling, listen to a song without turning it into a lesson. The point is not talent, the point is permission. Guilt may appear immediately. That guilt is not proof you are doing something wrong. It is proof the old system is confused. Old systems protest when new freedom begins to feel possible. Tell the guilt. We are practicing safety. The house does not fall apart just because I stop holding it for 15 minutes. For a few minutes, safety is allowed to prove itself. Step 5 is to let your younger self be witnessed, not managed. They do not need another boss. Presence is different from pressure, and the younger part knows it. They need someone to notice how much they carried and say, you should not have had to do all of that alone. That sentence can be more healing than another instruction. This is not about blaming every adult from the past. It is about returning the job to the right age. The past may be complicated, but the handoff can start now. The adult self can pay bills, set limits, ask for support, and make choices. The child self can finally stop supervising survival. This is the correct order, adult tasks with the adult self. As this happens, the emotional radar does not vanish. It becomes a tool instead of a master. Sensitivity stays, but it stops driving every decision. Empathy does not disappear either. It becomes cleaner, because it is no longer begging to be needed. Empathy becomes a bridge, not a rope around your body. Independence becomes choice instead of armor. You can stand alone, and you can also let safe people stand near you. Support becomes an option, not a threat to identity. Play returns in small flashes first. A laugh that surprises you, a hobby with no outcome, a quiet moment that stays quiet. Play often returns shyly, then grows when it is welcomed. The goal is not to become childish. The goal is to become whole enough that the child part is no longer trapped at work. The child part deserves a room, not another assignment. You cannot erase the years you spent being the little adult, but you can stop demanding that role forever. The role was brilliant once, but forever is too long. You can build a life where usefulness is welcome, but not required for love. Worth becomes the ground, and usefulness becomes only one expression. You can become reliable without becoming tense, caring without disappearing, strong without needing to be unreachable. This is maturity with softness still alive inside it. The child who grew up too fast did something extraordinary. They protected life with the tools they had. The goal is gratitude for survival, not worship of suffering. But now the grown self can turn around and say, thank you, I will carry the keys from here. This is the moment the old contract begins to change. And maybe childhood does not return as a calendar. Maybe it returns as permission. Permission is smaller than time travel, but much more available. Permission to rest, permission to need, permission to laugh before the work is done. These permissions may feel simple, but they repair deep rules. Permission to be loved not because you held everything together, but because you were always worth holding too. Being held can become a new kind of evidence. That is the real repair. The child stops standing guard, and the adult finally comes home. And when that happens, growing up finally stops meaning being alone. This is how the story changes. Not by becoming tougher, but by finally becoming safe enough to be young inside.